Hi, Year Fives, and welcome to your geography lesson. If you can make sure that you have a pencil and paper ready, because there's going to be some questions that you will need to write on a piece of paper and some work that you'll need to do on your paper to help you to do the activity for today. So please make sure that that is ready. And then we're going to be looking at the physical features of Japan today. Right, so our learning objective is to identify the physical geography of Japan. And our big question is, what is unique? What is very special about Japan's landscape? Okay. And our steps to success is at the end of this lesson, hopefully you'll be able to name some of Japan's natural features and to name the tallest mountain that can be found in Japan. So first, let's have a look at our just checking. So if you can now on your piece of paper, write for me the answers for these 4 questions. So last week, what do we call the lines that run from west to east? What is the largest continent? What continent lies to the north of South America? And then can you do some vocabulary for me? So you're going to select the word that means a great mass of land. Is it a harbor or a continent? Tick the sentence. You can't tick it, but if you just write 1, 2, and 3, in fact, let me just do that for you. This is number 1, this is number 2, and this is number 3. Then you can see which one you would define as a capital. And question number 3 there, tick the word that's closest in meaning to ocean, okay? So will you answer those questions on vocabulary for me? So pause the video now and have a go. Super, hopefully you whizzed through that and you're really starting to remember some of these terms that we need to be learning about and understanding for future geography lessons. So the lines that we use that are running from west to east, so they run this way horizontally, is called our lines of latitude. And can you remember what the lines that run from north to south are? We did this last week in our just checking, so maybe you can remember. And hopefully you said longitude, so well done. Remember the difference between longitude and latitude is longitude lines run vertically, so from north to south, and latitude lines from west to east, okay? They run horizontally. And the way that I remember longitude is I think the word long sounds like it's very long, like it's going this way, okay? So that's how I just remember it. Maybe you have some other ways to remember which one is which. The largest continent that we have is Asia, okay? What continent lies to the north of South America? Well, if South America is in the south, then obviously North America will be in the north. And your vocabulary. So continent is a great mass of land. Okay, it's a big, large piece of land. Capital, it says wear a capital when it is sunny. That makes no sense, so it wouldn't be that one. Every country has a capital city and cats like to sleep on a capital. So you would hopefully have chosen number 2. And the word ocean would be sea, and it is this sea here. This sea is that we see with our eyes, okay? And I'm going to try and draw an eye, which doesn't look very good, but there we go. All right, so hopefully you did really well. If you didn't do very well, try and remember these because they will pop up in future just checkings. So make sure that you are remembering them for future and learning from your mistakes today. So as we said, we're going to be looking at Japan and we're going to be looking at its landscape. So what do we find that is particular to Japan? However, first of all, we need to decide, what does the term physical geography mean? So have a think about it, maybe even Google it. So pause the video now and have a go. And as I say, I'm happy for you to Google it, see if you can learn something about what physical geography means. Great, let's see how you did. And hopefully you said something about the fact that the physical geography is the study of the location of the natural features, the things that are found naturally, not man-made. They are natural, okay? So like mountains and rivers. It looks at the land, the climate, and the water in the location and can investigate how they are created. Some natural features near you might be a hill or a river. And so can you think of any other natural features that you might find? Okay, so maybe you can have a little think. And when we come back to this question at the end of the lesson, hopefully you've got a bit of understanding of what geography features mean. Okay, so we're going to look at some physical features of Japan. So Japan has got mountains, right? Beautiful mountains. They have very large forests. They have rivers and lakes. They have these very steep cliffs, okay, that just are sheer. They just drop down. They have volcanoes and it says, did you know 66% of Japan is covered in forests? They've got a huge amount of land that is covered by trees. So you can see all these features here are natural, okay? I cannot go and build a mountain by myself, all right? I cannot make a volcano. Those are what we would call man-made features where man has created them. So like the Eiffel Tower would be man-made because man has created it. So what I would like you to do now on your piece of paper, and it's going to help you for your activity, is to have a look at these natural features that are found in Japan, and then think about what is the same as what we find here in the UK and what is different, okay? So what are the things that we don't see in the UK? So if you can have a list what are the same, so for example, we have rivers and lakes, so you could write rivers and lakes. But what would we not find in the UK? So you can have a look at these and then pause the video and write them out, and that's going to help you for your activity later. Right, we're going to look at the different islands now. How many islands? Can you remember how many islands make up Japan? Hopefully you remembered 4. There are 4 main islands that make up Japan, and we're going to look a little bit about each of these islands and what we find in them. Okay, specific to their what we can see and their climate. So the first one we're going to look at is Shikoku, and it is the smallest of the 4 islands, and there it is circled. Okay, you can see it's a lot smaller. This is the main island here. There's another island up top here, and there's one at the bottom here. So it is the smallest of these 4 islands, and is classed having a subtropical climate, which means that it is fairly close to the equator and only has 2 seasons. It has summer seasons that last longer than the winters, and these climates receive direct sunlight for a large part of the year. Okay, so that's actually probably quite nice to live in that area because it's probably quite warm. You're getting lots of summer days, not like the UK here, where a lot of the time we have very wintry days. A physical feature of Shikoku is the Yoshino River, which is famous for its wide rapids and the ravines that it cuts through the land. Unlike the other islands, Shikoku does not have any volcanoes, okay? So that's quite an important fact about this island. It doesn't have any volcanoes. Right, this is the next island, Kyushu. It's right at the bottom here, all right? And it is the 3rd largest island in Japan, right? It is also classed as having a subtropical climate, and it is home to Japan's most active volcano, okay, Mount Aso. This means that the volcano is expected to erupt again, okay? If it's an active volcano, it means that it's not sleeping, it's not dormant, and it's not extinct, which means it's not going to not erupt. It is going to erupt. It's going to, as it's classed as an active volcano. So if you think about being active, it means you're on the go, and that's what this volcano is. It erupted in 2016, so not too long ago, spewing volcanic ash 7 miles into the sky, and it fell back to Earth as far as 200 miles away. Right now, we know that volcanoes are quite a deadly natural disaster, and it can destroy many homes. And often, if you don't evacuate the place in time, people can obviously die. But having an active volcano also means that there are these lovely hot springs in the water because the magma underneath is heating up the Earth's crust. There's obviously beneath the Earth's surface, the water that is being collected is being heated up. And you can see here is a picture of those lovely hot springs. So the water is naturally warmed up, okay? It's not something that we would do. We don't go put heaters in the water and we go and sit and have a lovely bath. They are natural hot springs. So the water is naturally heated by the magma from underneath. That's then warming up the water, and there you can see the steam that's coming off it. Right, Hokkaido is the northernmost island right at the top here, and is the only one of the 4 main islands that is not classed as having a subtropical climate. Okay, so that is quite an important fact there. It has a cool climate, and why do you think that the islands further down are warmer than this island up here? What can you think that these islands are closer to? And hopefully you would have said that these islands are closer to the equator, and that the countries that are closer to the equator and the places that are close to the equator are a lot warmer, okay? Because they're getting more of the direct sunlight from the sun, whereas the places that are further to the north and south pole are a lot colder because the sunlight has to take a lot more time to get to it. So it has summers ranging from about 17 degrees to 22 degrees, which is not too warm for a summer. It's probably quite similar to our climate in terms of the temperature. And winters ranging from minus 12 degrees to minus 4 degrees Celsius. That is very, very cold. Okay, I think the day that it snowed here, it was sitting on about 0 degrees. Okay, so imagine having 12 degrees less than that. So it's getting very cold. It also has volcanoes and mountains at the center of the island, and this combined with the icy and snowy winters makes it an appealing snow sports destination. So lots of people will go and visit this place because there are lots of sporting activities that you can do in the snow, like skiing. And our last island is the main island, Honshu. Honshu is the main largest island. In comparison, it is slightly larger than the island of Great Britain. Okay, so that just shows you how small we are in comparison to Japan. Okay, so this is the largest island, and it is just slightly larger than the whole of Japan, the whole of Britain. It is home to the capital city of Japan, Tokyo, and has a subtropical climate. Honshu contains Japan's largest lake, Lake Biwa. It is 40 miles long and gets its name from a musical instrument that has a similar shape. Okay, so there you can see this is the lake, but this is a map, and you can see this is the lake here from an aerial view. Okay, it looks so we're looking downwards, and then you can see some more of the landscape, okay, of this lake. So quite beautiful, actually. Right, so Mount Fuji, now this is the mountain that we need to know about, which is the tallest mountain on Honshu. It also has a volcano, all right, and it is 3,776 meters high, and it is worshipped as a sacred mountain. It has been inspiration behind many pieces of famous artwork and poems, okay, so you might have even heard of this mountain before in some writing that you've read, or pictures that you've seen as artwork. Mount Fuji is an active volcano. So it's an active volcano. What does that mean? Can you remind yourselves? Right, it means that it can possibly, and it is expected to erupt in the future. And you can climb this mountain, all right? Just not when it's active, obviously. It is a very popular activity, particularly in order to see the sunrise from the summit. The summit is the very top peak of the mountain, and lots of people go and hike up this mountain so that they can watch the sunrise. It is also one of Japan's 3 holy mountains, along with Mount Tate and Mount Haku. It can be seen for miles around on clear days and has even been photographed from space. Okay, quite amazing. Right, so there you can see the picture of Mount Fuji. Right, now your activity for today is you've got to imagine that you have just got on a plane and everything is now safe. It's all safe to travel. And you have flown all the way over to Japan to go and visit these islands. And you are now going to write a letter or a postcard. You can decide which one you would like to do, telling us about what you saw, what was the climate like, what did you go to different islands, which islands did you go and visit. So you will need to come back to this video to see the information that we talked about. And specifically, I want you to then at the end compare what is different and what is the same to the UK and Japan. So we did that comparison, and you should have written it down on a piece of paper. So that's going to really help you now when you're doing your letter or your postcard to explain the difference between those two places. So that's your activity for today. Now, those of you who are going to do a postcard, all right, it's something as very simple as this. Now, on Teams, if you have Teams, you can log on. I have made something very plain, and you are welcome to rather do it on a piece of paper, make it look really attractive and really give it some detail. A postcard generally has a nice big picture, so your picture, so maybe one of the pictures that you've seen, and you just need to make up a name that you're going to send it to. It could be one of your teachers, it could be your parents, it could be a close friend of yours. and then the address, okay? And you can just make up these details. And that's generally what you see on a postcard on the one side. And on the other side, you're going to then tell your friend or your parent or your teacher all the things that you would have seen in Japan, okay? So you've got to imagine that you are right now transporting yourself into Japan. You've been walking around, you've been seeing all these wonderful natural features, the volcanoes, the mountains, the lakes, and you are now going to write us a little bit about that. And then at the end, you're going to tell us how it is different to being here. Okay, so you could say things like, this is different to living at home as we do not have mountains, or we do not have a volcano that's active. So I would like you to have a think about what you're going to include, and then you're going to do that. So on Teams, you will notice that there's, I have put an assignment up, but as I say, it's very boring. It's just a block and you can then write in it. Or underneath it just says letter, and you can then just write the letter underneath. So you can just decide which one you'd prefer to do. If you would rather do it on a piece of paper and make it look really attractive, especially if you're going to be doing the postcard, because if you got a blank piece of paper on the one side, you could draw the picture and you could do the address, and on the other side, you'd write the information, and you could make that look really attractive. And you can see, you could even Google some pictures of Japan and try and copy them. Or even if you're getting very, some of you are going to becoming very smart and clever, far more intelligent with your technology than me, but maybe some of you want to snippy some pictures of Japan, and then you can arrange it on a blank presentation and then do your information underneath. So please feel free to have just some fun with this. All we're looking for is maybe a picture of something. So even if you just copy a picture from the internet, or you draw your picture, and then a bit of information about what you saw as a tourist being in Japan. And that is your activity for today. I hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you back here later. Bye-bye.